Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the channel King Alexander. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below your thoughts and opinions. Give this video a thumbs up. So today I wanted to come on and make a quick video in regards to some things that have been going on in regards to the government pending looming shutdown, which they have scheduled for the end of the month of September. Today is September the 19th, exactly 7 days from when Democrats came out to defend Joe Biden's impeachment inquiry that was opened by House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, who is a Democrat. And he opened this, some people are saying, on behalf of Republicans who pressured him into it at risk of him being removed as Speaker. So, Hakeem Jeffries and Catherine Clark were two of the three main speakers on September the 12th. They came out to defend Joe Biden and talk about how basically there was no real evidence to impeach Joe Biden and that the inquiry was a waste of time, and they kept using terms to describe Republicans in the House and in the Senate. I guess you can go ahead and loop them all together and say that they were MAGA extremists. You know, one of the things about Hakeem Jeffries that bothers me the most is the hypocrisy of him and both Catherine Clark. They loved to, use the word MAGA extremist. If you took a shot for every time they used the word MAGA extremist to try and reiterate, what was going on, you probably would have been drunk. Now, I'm not arguing that the term MAGA extremist, was not a viable term, but they use the term so over and over again. We really need to come up with a term to describe Hakeem Jeffries, Kathleen Clark, and other Democrats of their ilk. But he described how MAGA extremists were running the House. It's the hypocrisy for me, of both the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. They talk about government spending and open borders. The Republicans want to cut Medicare, Social Security, and then say that that's not what they want to do. But here today, they just got up there and did their weekly press conference and said they wanted to cut 8% of government spending programs. I can't remember the exact term that they said, but they wanted to cut 8%. But there was to keep the government afloat in their 30-day plan, which would go through October 31st, which is Halloween. So that's the plan that the House Republicans has to present to get passed in order to keep the government from shutting down, which is scheduled for another 2 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. I want to be optimistic, but you have to realize that if the government shuts down, nobody really benefits. Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, all those people who are getting those things, the elderly, the young kids, mothers, single mothers who are getting, programs to take their kids to the doctor's office, programs who rely on federal spending. The military won't get paid. Of course, they get back pay for that, for the time that the government is shut down. But who really do these government shutdowns hurt? They don't hurt Congress because Congress still gets paid. And of course, I'm waiting for Joe Biden. We haven't heard from Kamala Harris. We're waiting for Joe Biden to come back out. Can anyone tell me when was the last time that Joe Biden did a State of the Union? And how often is the President of the United States supposed to make a State of the Union address? But what really had got me is my main question. Hakeem Jeffries and Catherine Clark had so much to say on just September 12th, which was 7 days ago. And they say that Um, Let me see. I got some notes here. The Democrats are arguing that the Republicans have no agenda to serve the Americans. And my argument is, well, what is the policy of the Democrats besides, open borders and sending all of your taxpayer dollars to Ukraine? We as American voters have already laid out the agenda for the Democrats and what we want, and it has fallen on deaf ears. Hakeem Jeffries wanted to get on social media and talk about how he went back to, I think he said he was in Brownsville, New York, which is either Bronx, don't get me, Bronx or Brooklyn, one of the two. I'm sorry if you know about that. But he was on social media talking about how, don't let the suit fool you. I still go to my old hood and hang out, da 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 da. And it just was like, okay. But you talk about how the Republicans don't have any agenda, but the Democrats, we've told you what we wanted. We want universal health care. We want you to stop sending unlimited checks to Ukraine. And we want you to use some of those resources, those taxpayer dollars, here at home. Like to help the people in Maui, to help the people in Mississippi, and maybe use some of those taxpayers, maybe another stimulus check, or maybe to fix roads and bridges here. Where is the argument from Pete Buttigieg? He could come out and speak out, against this overspending, all these unlimited checks. He's supposed to be overseeing, infrastructure and DOT. And it's just like, well, where are these people? Kamala Harris is nowhere to be seen or heard from, except for when she wants to come out and pander, and particularly to black people or black voters. It's all this back and forth, and it's no wonder we can't get anything done. Then you've got, Joe Biden, who gets up there, he stumbles, he mumbles, he talks to his imaginary friend. Mitch McConnell gets up there, he stumbles, he mumbles, he fumbles the ball. He freezes on camera not once but twice. And people forget that Mitch McConnell suffered from a concussion where he fell when he was standing at a hotel. I believe the story, I have it posted, I believe on my Facebook page, which I'll post that. I think I already shared that link, and I've already posted that onto my Facebook page, where he had stumbled and had a concussion. And we know that most people, whenever they have a concussion, it causes serious issues, let alone to take into effect his age. Okay? The Democrats, I believe they were arguing that they created 13 million jobs. I said, well, where are these 13 million jobs? How do we have 13 million jobs that were created, especially when not too long ago we just heard about all these layoffs, and we have all these strikes going on. We have the SAG-AFTRA strike. We have the Writers Guild of America strikes going on. So they're not working. They're not creating content. That means that the people behind the scenes, the camera crew, other producers aren't getting paid, and they have all the right to strike and ban. But where are these 13 million jobs? The average day American is still struggling with inflation. We're getting ready to head into winter, which means you're going to have to pay for heating costs. The same thing that happened if they don't raise the rates like they did with the cooling costs. We've also got Republicans arguing that the Democrats just have open borders and that they're sending unlimited checks, but they want to cut Medicare, Medicaid. They want to cut government spending. So the Democrats won't help you. They won't help to lower the cost of inflation. Republicans won't help to lower the cost of inflation. They sent trillions of dollars, which, by the way, has been voted on by Congress, because Congress is the one that controls the power of the purse, to fight a proxy war with Russia. And it's one of the things that people just won't say out loud, but it's being said behind closed doors. And it's just crazy. The Republicans are arguing that the government spending is out of control. And they keep wanting to use the word woke politics. That's another thing. What is the definition of woke? I didn't realize that the term, you got Governor Ron DeSantis wanting to run for Florida, the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis, wanting to run for president of the United States. Meanwhile, he's openly hostile. His state and him and his agenda and his policy are openly hostile towards African Americans. We've seen it and we've heard the rhetoric. We saw what they did with the education plan. So you really want to let this man become president of the United States, even though we've already seen what his educational plan was in Florida and what's actually going on right now, because that was for this current school year, which started in August, if I'm not mistaken, about how the enslaved Africans actually benefited from slavery, and then try to pedal it back and tiptoe and say that he had no idea, he didn't write it. So you mean you didn't take the time as the governor to read the documents that came across your desk to approve something that was supposed to come across your desk that involved the citizens, the people that you're supposed to represent in your state, and you want to move to higher office? Okay. How does that work? Make it make sense. So that was just a little bit of my rambling that was going on. Like I said, all this hypocrisy going on between the Republicans and the Democrats. They're both arguing with one another. They're never going to be able to meet in the middle because their ideologies are just too polar, too divisive, too opposite of one another. They want to blame one another, which they rightfully should, but neither one really has room to point the finger. It's really like those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. But I'm waiting to see. I'm going to be paying close attention, and I'm going to keep the hopes up that they'll be able to pass some form of resolution. I said a revolution, but because we need a revolution. But really, you see it in this spending bill that they want to pass. Republicans want to pass. They keep wanting to cut the spending. They said cut 8% of government-funded agencies, which includes Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. Those are the top three, and we know that they've already spoken out against those particular things. And Nikki Haley, when they had the GOP debates, that was one of the things that she spoke about, was that she wanted to raise the retirement age. And in doing so, I think something about the average age was 70 for the Americans. So she wanted to raise it to 72 or 74. It's 60 something now. I think it's 64. So she wanted to raise it to 74 when the average age of the Americans was only 70. I believe that's fact. Don't quote me on that. But where's Hakeem Jeffries at? Where's his supposed agenda? Where is Catherine Clark? They came out in full force to attack Republicans and say that this impeachment inquiry was not necessary and that it was a waste of time, waste of resources, and that they were MAGA extremists. When you really don't have to look that hard. All the evidence is very clear that Joe Biden is corrupt and has had some type of dealings with his son, and they keep trying to make the son the scapegoat, when in all actuality, he was complicit from the beginning. So if we keep throwing around the term high crimes and misdemeanors, more than likely we could find some type of high crime or misdemeanor with Joe Biden. And reasons for that impeachment inquiry is very valid in my opinion. With that being said, I'm going to end this video. Thank you again for listening and tuning in. Subscribe and like the video. Thanks. Have a good day.